Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. All the Light We Cannot See takes place during the height of World War II. It's the story of Marie-Laure, who at the age of 6 goes blind, but she learns Braille and manages to navigate confidently around her neighborhood. It's the story of Werner Finnig, who is enchanted with radios, and because of his talents, he wins a spot at a brutal Hitler Youth Academy. It's the story of a German sergeant major who wishes to defy death, and he will do just about anything to save himself. And it's the story of a mythical stone who curses anyone who takes possession of it. I have heard so much hype in regards to this book, and me being the lover of historical fiction that I am, I knew I had to pick up this book because it sounds exactly like my cup of tea. I did have some rather conflicting feelings about this book overall, but let me just say this book is by no means horrible. I actually really enjoyed it, but there was just some issues I had with it. I actually kept kind of teetering between giving this book a 3 or 4 star. I feel like if there was like a half-star rating system, I would have gave it more like 3.5. So I'm just going to get into the things that I enjoyed about the book first, and then get into the things that I didn't like. The writing of this book is freaking beautiful. It's like sensory overload. If I had to describe this book to someone, I would tell them that this book is a very sensory experience. You can see everything, you can hear everything, you can taste everything, you can feel. It's just all there for you to just fully experience. This of course makes the book very descriptive, but not so descriptive that it's boring or tedious. You're kind of just given enough description that it's very satisfactory. Anthony Doerr certainly has a way with words. I think that is what he excels at best with this book. Even though I do have some complaints with characters in this book, in general, I really liked these characters. They were just extremely likable, as well as very sympathetic. And even the antagonists, even though you kind of despise them, you don't like them, the thing is they're still very well done. I also really liked the layout of this book. Most chapters are anywhere from 1 to 5 pages long, so that kind of brings about a kind of quick reading experience. And the chapters also alternate between characters. You may have a chapter and you start with Marie-Laure, and then the next chapter is from Werner's perspective, and then you might have another chapter with the German sergeant major, and then you might have another chapter with some random character. This kind of format between character alternating chapters really kind of, like I said, and like with the chapters being short, kind of this alternating style also helps with kind of reading speed, and the plot just is constantly going. This may be some sort of hindrance to some readers if you're the type of person who doesn't like this sort of layout, chapter layout. It could be kind of tedious to you, and especially if you prefer one character's story over another. But for me personally, I didn't have any issues with the story doing alternating chapters between characters. It helped the flow of the story move along for me. Okay, so moving on to the things that I had some issues with. Like I said earlier, Anthony Doerr has a really beautiful way with words, but sometimes I think he spent so much time on descriptions and really making you feel part of the historical setting that he didn't spend enough time on fleshing out the characters. I think the best way to kind of describe what I'm feeling is that I felt like I only ever got to know these characters on a very surface level. I know that Marie-Laure is blind and that she has freckles. I know that Werner is exceptional at math and playing around with radios, and that he has like this shock of white hair. But I never really felt like I got to get really deep into the core of these characters, if that makes any sort of sense. This entire book is told in third person, and I don't know if maybe that's what my problem is, that I think this book would have been better if it had been told in first person. This book feels very reminiscent of The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. You guys know how much I love The Book Thief. There's just something about Anthony Doerr's kind of style, his writing style, that just seems very much like Markus Zusak. I can't really explain it. So you'd have to read this book and The Book Thief to kind of get what I'm saying. And so I almost feel like this book was trying to be The Book Thief. It was trying to manipulate emotions, but I don't think that ever really happened for me. I never really got emotionally connected. And this book tried to present so many interesting themes and have so much depth to it, but I don't think it ever quite got there. And it's the same way with this book as far as a climax goes. I never felt like this book reached a climax. It just kind of all felt very much like this. Maybe a little bump here, and then maybe a little bump here, kind of like a heartbeat. You know, the book never went like this and then whoa, and then like back down. You know, it never went like that. I don't know, I think I felt this book was going to go somewhere different, and it didn't meet my expectations. So yeah, as you can see, I have some really conflicting, maybe even contradictory feelings about this book. I feel kind of bad giving this book 3 stars because the writing is so beautiful and so beautifully descriptive. And I do like the characters and I do like the story, but there's just something missing, and I don't know exactly what is missing. I guess I felt left hanging, if that makes any sort of sense. This book kind of left me wanting more. I do highly recommend this book for lovers of historical fiction, especially if you like the World War II setting. And I also think this book is a great place to start if you've not read much historical fiction in the past. It's very easy to read, I think. So yeah, that's it for this review. Have any of you read this book? Are you interested in reading it? If you want to talk to me about this book, just leave some comments down below, and if you feel the need to share any spoilers, make sure you say something like spoilers somewhere in your comments so that way others aren't getting spoiled who have not read this book. So that's it for this book review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and if you liked this book review, you may like these other book reviews. Bye guys.